The hidden psychology of disrespect and how powerful people handle it. I mean, have you ever noticed something strange about the way people treat each other? Some people seem to command respect wherever they go, while others are simply ignored. And when these people speak, people listen. When they walk into a room, their presence is felt. But others constantly get talked over, ignored, or subtly dismissed. I mean, maybe you've experienced this yourself. I think we've all been there. And most people think this happens randomly. But here's something almost nobody talks about. And that's disrespect actually follows a very specific psychology. And once you understand that psychology, something powerful begins to happen. You stop absorbing disrespect personally and you start commanding respect naturally. So today I'm going to share with you 3 powerful insights that can completely change how people view you, how they treat you, and most importantly, how they can respect you. And the first point is that disrespect is often a boundary test. Many times when someone disrespects you, they don't even know. They're not trying to hurt you because they don't even realize on a conscious level that this is happening. They're testing you based on how they perceive themselves. So human beings constantly test social boundaries, and this often happens in group settings or at work. It's something we've been doing for thousands of years as social creatures. People subconsciously want to know, how confident is this person? How strong are their boundaries? What can I get away with? And you first of all might see it in small incremental steps, in small ways at the beginning. Someone interrupts you while you're speaking. Someone makes a sarcastic remark behind your back or in front of you. Someone dismisses your idea without even really listening. And we've all been through that, I'm sure. And at first might seem harmless, but psychologically, the brain is asking a very important question, a very interesting question. And that's, how much can I get away with this person? If there's no boundary, the behavior usually continues. And it's at these times you have to step up and take control of the situation. You see, confident people respond differently. They don't react emotionally and go all nuts, but they respond calmly. And I know this can be easier said than done, especially in a very disrespectful situation. And I'll share with you a story in a minute about what actually happened to me. You see, confident people might say something simple to a reaction of someone's prodding them or disrespecting them. Like, let me finish my sentence. Let me finish my point, please. I'm not comfortable with that. Or was that remark intended to be disrespectful? So that calm response changes the dynamic instantly. Because respect isn't created by aggression. It's created by self-respect and clear boundaries. And the moment people feel that certainty in you, their behavior shifts. And as a quick heads up, if you find yourself in a situation, especially at work, where you're getting disrespected or you're getting bullied, confront them as soon as you can or confront the manager. And if nothing else happens, leave. Just don't make sure it doesn't escalate like what happened to me. And I'll tell you the story now. It was over 20 years ago, and I was working in a warehouse in Sydney. And there's one particular supervisor, I won't say his name, and he kept bugging me and it was really pissing me off. Everything I did wasn't right. He kept on nitpicking at me all the time, and to the point where even my co-workers, I felt embarrassed because they were looking at me going, when's he going to say something? But I didn't. I let it go. And it grew under my skin. He got under my skin. And so I just thought, ignore it. This guy's an idiot. And then one time he said something and I snapped. I thought, that arsehole. It snapped. So I ran into the office, or walked fast into his office, and there were a few people working in the office. And I stared him in the eye. I said, what's your fucking problem, mate? He was like, what do you mean? I said, what's your fucking problem? You've been on my ass for so long. What is it? You could see that angry look on my face. I wanted to punch him. I really did. And I thought, okay, calm down. Don't hit him. I know I should have approached him in a calmer manner, but I let it escalate for way too long before confronting him. But I was a lot younger then, and I was a lot more naive. So please, if anyone you find yourself in the situation, don't run storming like what I did. Approach him in a calm manner, or as calm as you possibly can. So we exchanged a few words, and I was seeing red, and he actually, a few minutes later, apologized, as you should do as a manager for being an arsehole. And I soon found out that he'd been warned by another manager as he had done that to someone else. So I got my power back that day, I can tell you. He never bugged me again. And I gained a lot of respect from my fellow workers and managers as well. They saw me in a different light. Deep down, I knew I should have handled it better. And I actually felt a bit sorry for him because I shouldn't have been that harsh. But he did deserve it, but I was harsh. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because sometimes disrespect isn't just all about testing you. Sometimes it comes from something much deeper. And that's what I found out about my scenario as well. That leads me on to point 2. Disrespect often comes from their insecurity. Sometimes when someone criticizes you, or they don't like you, or they dismiss you or put you down, it actually has nothing to do with you. It comes from their own insecurity, as was my case. Human beings compare themselves constantly. It's just the way we are. When someone sees another person who is confident or who is ambitious or is doing well or growing, it can trigger something uncomfortable inside them. So instead of facing their own fears or dealing with their own insecurities, they pick on other people, or their brain finds an easier solution. It tries to bring other people down. But when you look deeper, these words often reveal something important. They're not actually describing you. They're describing the limits that that person has placed on themselves. And once you understand this, really understand this, something powerful begins to happen. And that is that you stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. You stop absorbing all the crap criticism that was never really about you in the first place. I know I didn't do this at the time in the warehouse, but now I'm aware of why it actually happened. I was a target because I let him play out his disrespect for way too long. And once you're aware of that fact, that it's just a reflection of the person, you can stay focused on yourself, stay focused on your path. Because confident people understand a simple truth. That's it. Criticism is not resistance, it's simply projection. But the most powerful insight about respect goes even deeper than this. Because the way people treat you is not just about their psychology. It's also about the way you see yourself. And it goes back to the old saying, people treat you the way you let them. And that's true. That leads me on to point 3. Your self-respect teaches people how to treat you. And that's exactly where I fell short. I let this guy walk all over me for way too long. I thought he'd get over it, but he didn't. I had to snap. Someone had. It was either me or someone else eventually. But here's something fascinating about human psychology. People don't just listen to your words. They read your energy, your behavior. They notice your body language. They notice things subconsciously. Your posture, your tone of voice, your eye contact, how quickly you apologize or not apologize, whether you can tolerate disrespect and how much. And all these signals communicate something powerful. They reveal how you see yourself. So when someone truly respects themselves internally, something changes. They speak more calmly. They don't rush their words. They don't over-explain themselves. They don't chase approval. And that quiet certainty creates a kind of presence. And people feel this presence. They naturally respond with more respect. So it's not about dominating others. It's about being grounded in who you are. And when your self-respect grows, your world begins to shift. The people who once dismissed you either change how they treat you or they slowly drift out of your life. Both outcomes move you forward. So if you remember anything from this video, please remember this. Disrespect is rarely random. It often comes from 3 things. People testing your boundaries, people projecting their insecurity onto you, and the signals you send out about how you see yourself. And that's why how you see yourself is so important. And when you understand this psychology, everything changes. You stop taking disrespect personally, and you start building something far more powerful. And that's self-respect. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to go deeper into this idea, the next video I recommend watching is called Trusting Yourself. How I trusted myself when no one else did. Because the moment you truly trust yourself, something incredible happens. You stop needing validation from the outside world. And that's when your real power begins. So please click on the video and I'll see you there. Peace out. Thanks for watching.